Now, we will give you some knowledge about the advance after entering the stage of duty. The plan of duty is a stage in which evolution can be started and continued on with open comprehension. The automatic and semi-comprehending developments which have reached up to the plan of duty have entered here, a complete comprehending stage. And the clear meaning of this is, comprehension of the beings have started to adapt by their own powers to the beams of the cone of light, which we said that they climb up in this plan. Because of this, we call the stage of duty as the stage where active adaptations start. As advanced at this stage, comprehension's fields of adaptation to the necessities widen as well, that is, comprehension of the original time that flows as it evolves, adapt in wider scopes to the divine necessities belonging to the spirit and universe relations. In other words, all comprehension unifies with these necessities, and consequently, with each other, and we call this a state of unity, that is, the unitary. Nevertheless, the unity at these initial stages of the plan of duty is yet a long way off from being complete, but it has started to occur. For example, now that we accept the infinite necessities of the original principle, like an infinite value as n, which belongs to the relations of the needs of spirits and the possibilities of the universe substance, the comprehension of the beings at this stage has yet adapted in a very small scale at the initial stages of duty. And with whichever necessities comprehension has entered into harmony, that is, the state of unity, there it becomes truth. And that being makes up a part of the harmony there. So, this is participation in harmony, to become part of the harmony. This knowledge also explains the meaning of the statement that, the plan of duty is a plan of realization. So, in tandem with the start of this plan, comprehension proceeds to penetrate into the universe truths with greater power. That is, within the harmony of these truths its scope increases. Similarly, this knowledge explains another great truth as well. Various beings who have reached a state of reconciliation upon the same necessities have become a unity with each other as well. Therefore, in the various stages of the plan of duty, there are various duty groups which have unified upon certain necessities, becoming a unity. Among them, unlike in the world, there are no differences in realities. For, they are actually in harmony with the truths. There are not realities but truths. Nevertheless, we repeat that, this harmony has not immediately contained the whole of the plan of duty. The complete and total harmony is only possible at the unitary, and this is still at a distance which can be deemed as infinity relative to the initial stages of the plan of duty. At the unitary, there are no realities anymore. The original necessities, which are the original principles flux in universe, the mechanism of destiny and the original time, which are the flux of the principles of destiny and time in the universe, put into effect the unity by joining with the comprehensions there. That place is the truth itself. It is the last boundary of the universe, and the expression of the realization of evolution. The whole administration of the universe is possible only with the permeating influences filtrating from here. Traversing the paths which seem endless, starting from the initial stages of the plan of duty up to the unitary, occurs also through very complicated mechanisms. In order to give knowledge about this topic, let us go back to the moment when the base of the cone of light in the symbolic projector was at the initial stages of the plan of duty. The beings started to climb up towards the top of this cone of light. We have mentioned about the comprehensions here, which become partners on certain necessities, and that they entered into a state of a single being. Such a state does not exist in the realm below the plan of duty, for example, in the world. Since it is not possible for mankind to reach any truth at all, mankind lives only in the relativities of the truth, that is, in the realities. Because of this, Whatever the number of comprehensions in the world is, there are the same number of realities. This is because, in the world there is not the truth itself, but relative and miscellaneous manifestations of truths, which vary in accordance with various capacities of the comprehensions. The things which can be valued in accordance with each comprehension's own capacity will certainly be different from each other. Because of this, in the world, complete agreement and unity of comprehension upon any point is not possible. This can only start from the plan of duty. These reconciliations which start at the plan of duty load some deeds and duties on the beings, and subject them to some obligations, in accordance with the width of their fields of adaptation. And they widen their fields of adaptation more, according to the degree of merit they will acquire while rendering their obligations, and they climb up the higher steps of the stages of plan of duty, which arises towards the unitary. However, these obligations of beings, as it may come up to mind in the lower plans, are not things that are given or taken. For after all, entering into a state of reconciliation with truth means unifying with it, and the true meaning of what we call obligation emerges from this unity. Therefore, as the beings rise up at the stages of duty, their obligations increase automatically under the mechanism of destiny. No one charges the beings in the plan of duty with obligations, as long as they increase the merit of their obligations regarding the mechanism of destiny. So, in this case, the beings in there are not completely free of the tests and trials either. Now, let us state the way of occurrence of the merits of these obligations. We have said that the beings first step into their unity of comprehensions in the universe, under the necessities of the mechanism of destiny, begins at the plan of duty, and we have said that this is the comprehension's attainment or realization of the necessities, truths. So, the imperative which results in the being's obligation of duty is because of this realization. These realizations advance together with perceptual time mechanism. And the beings in duty are already subject to the conditions of perceptual time and space. It is because the realization, which we symbolized with the symbolic projector, means the adaptation of comprehensions to the original necessities. Initial realizations start at the initial stages of the plan of duty, and by gradually rising, reach its final scope at the unitary. Therefore, the beings rising by climbing up the beam of the original principal light, which ascends to the universe means the adaptation of comprehensions to all necessities that exist within the scope of those light beams, their entering into its harmony, and increasingly merging into that harmony in wider scope. When this climbing reaches the last boundary of possibility of the universe, which we call the unitary, that being's comprehension has adapted to all necessities contained by this beam of light, has become complete in harmony, and consequently, attained a state of prevalence over the parts and the whole of universe. That is, it has merged into that great harmony, as if it has become the universe itself. Thus, starting from the first stage of the plan of duty, as the beings gradually climb up the original principal light, they enter states of prevalence over the universe parts, at degrees of their harmony with the points they are in, and this prevalence is completed within the unitary. As to the manifestational way of these obligations, the realized obligations, with this realization, have already entered into applications of these truths. And each of these applications is an obligation as well. In this way, the application of certain truths imperatively results in the cooperation of certain comprehensions. And from that point on, the imperativeness of some cadres and organization systems emerges. Because of this, here, we need to talk about the cadres. This is a truth that no possible state in the universe is thinkable outside the necessity, imperativeness of evolution, and the mechanism of destiny. There is nothing like arbitrariness. This principle is valid and unchangeable for all groups, all connections, and all cadres. Therefore, the cadres are the imperative results of the organization systems that need to be engaged in the universal mechanisms, depending on the sublime necessities which are determinant in the execution of completions and fluxes in universe. Every organization system, in whichever cadre it should work, is built and performs according to it. So, establishment of the cadres should be in accordance with the basic principles, main mechanisms. For example, the performance of the mechanism of destiny which we talked about, is regulated with the activities of organization systems which are established within certain cadres.